Okay. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Brevon Towns. Welcome to another episode of Sports Plus Life. Yeah. Turn it off, turn it all the way off, man. I'm telling you. Oh, my goodness. Allow me to reintroduce myself because I am so hyped to talk about our first segment. But again, this is Brevon Towns. This is Sports Plus Life. If this is your first time listening, please hit that subscribe button and become part of the Sports Plus Life family. It is an absolute gorgeous 74-degree spring day in Richmond, Virginia. And it is Thursday, April 11th, 2019. And man, do we have some stuff to talk about today. Oh my goodness. You know, I was so tempted on Tuesday to do another podcast like I did on Monday. So I'm not even going to waste my time. I'm going to do, hear the pleasantries. Hi, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Because there's some things that I have to talk about. It has been a mix of emotions from Monday to Tuesday and then on to yesterday. From Monday to Tuesday. But you know what? I'm going to start where I should have started, that of early Tuesday morning. So with that being said, let's get to it! In case you didn't already know, in case you're a little late to the party, or in case you just don't give a damn about sports, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It has happened. We have done it. The University of Virginia men's college basketball can sing this song with me. Oh my goodness. We are the champions. My friends, God damn it. We did it. We fought to the very end of the tournament, and what a ride it was. Yes, we are the champions. Monday night in Minneapolis, in an absolute classic, the University of Virginia CAVALIERS defeated the Texas Tech Red Raiders 85-77 to win their first national championship in school history and their first attempt. But no. It just doesn't stop there. Anybody who knows anything about college basketball or sports period knows that just a year ago, the University of Virginia came into the NCAA tournament as the number 1 overall seed, 31-2, and suffered the greatest upset in the history of college basketball, losing to UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And they were the laughingstock of not just college basketball. They were the laughingstock of the entire sports world. Virginia's loss last year was the equivalency of Buster Douglas knocking Mike Tyson out February 10th, 1990. Just the humiliation and something that this team had to go through the entire season. And to come back in the very next season, after being publicly crucified, trolled at every stadium that they went to outside of John Paul Jones Arena, going to Duke and hearing chants of UMBC, and every ESPN analyst or analyst on FS1 or any analyst period who would talk about the University of Virginia would mention UMBC and the disaster that happened last year. for that team to fight through the adversity and to just hold us Cavalier fans at the edge of our seat. I swear I almost had a heart attack their last 3 games. To win the national championship 1 year after such humiliation is a test of courage, character. It is absolutely wonderful. I was on cloud 9. I'm still on cloud 9. I literally was on my knees. Tears were coming out of my eyes because it was a very euphoric moment. I've been watching Virginia basketball since I was a little kid. Never once had I seen them get to a Final Four. The last time they had got to a Final Four was 1984. I was 9 months old, 9 months old. And to see them accomplish that, and first things first, everybody coming into that game was trashing that game. There was 95% of the comments made about this game Monday night coming into the game were all negative. And definite congratulations to Texas Tech as well, because they showed heart. They deserve to be there. They definitely deserve to be there. And they played their hearts out. But all you were hearing, and I even said this to myself, hey, first team to 40 wins, maybe first team to 50. But there were people who were dead serious on that. The over-under as far as the combined score, they said was the lowest and over like 20 years. And it was going to be seen as a defensive slugfest, a eyesore of a game. But what we ended up getting was an instant classic. And just for these people who said it would be a low-scoring game, at the end of regulation, the score was 68-68, so that put that to bed. And Virginia, for the most part, had the game in control. They got up double digits a couple of times, but were able to keep Texas Tech in around that, 6 to 9 point range for the majority of the game. But each half, Texas Tech would hit them with a run that would put the game in doubt. They did it at the end of the first half. They did it at the end of the second half when Virginia was up 8, I believe, with 5 minutes to go. Texas Tech scored. Texas Tech went on a run that put them up by 3 with 12.9, not with 12.9 seconds, with 3. They were up by 3 with 22 seconds left in the game. And just as the games before, against Auburn and against Purdue, it looked bleak for Virginia. That's what makes this tournament run so special, because you already had the burden of what had happened last year. But then, in your last 3 games, in each game, Virginia was trailing with under 15 seconds left. 2 of the games, they were trailing with under 5 seconds left. And won all 3 of those games and took the title. It is just something absolutely special. When it was 68-65, Texas Tech had a defensive breakdown. Ty Jerome penetrated to the basket. Looked like he could have had an easy layup. If I was Texas Tech's coach, I would have wanted them to just give the layup up, because you would have still been up 1 and you would have just had to hit your free throws. Of course, anything could have happened. But instead, Jared Culver, Texas Tech's best player, who didn't have that great of a game, collapsed off of DeAndre Hunter, and Ty Jerome kicked it to him in the corner, and DeAndre Hunter, with ice water in his veins, made a 3 with 12 seconds left to tie the game and send it in overtime. And by the way, DeAndre Hunter made himself millions and millions and millions of dollars Monday night, because out of Virginia's team, he was seen as the most NBA ready, seen as a top 5 pick in this year's coming up draft. And I was saying, well, I'd sure like to see it, because in the first half, he only had 5 points. He was playing good defense, but in the second half exploded 22 in the second half in overtime, finished with 27 points, and had lockdown defense on the Big 12 Player of the Year, Jarrett Culver, and was just smoking hot from the field. Made 4 3-pointers in the second half. And it was just something, it was something to behold. It was something special. And what it does is it will never erase the memory of UMBC. That is with Virginia's legacy. That is with Virginia's legacy forever. But, as I've said recently, don't judge by the mistake. Judge by the way you rectify the problem. And what better way to rectify the problem than a year later to take the whole fucking thing? So when you talk about UMBC, because there will be a documentary on this tournament run by Virginia, when you talk about the UMBC game, you can't just leave it at that. No, because that would leave the story incomplete. Now the story is, but they won it all the next year. Not with no one and dones neither. That's another thing that makes this so sweet, because the majority of the players that were on this team this year were on the team last year. I feel for Isaiah Wilkins and Devin Hall, the seniors that were on that team last year. But they were there. They were there. And so that is just a true test of redemption, character, stick-to-itiveness. It's wonderful. And like I said, the wild ride that it was. The wild ride that this tournament was, to be on pins and needles, to be trailing in each of your last 3 games with less than 20 seconds to go. And 2 of those games, they were trailing with less than 5 seconds left. And it just seemed over. It seemed like this is it. You're still just going to hear about UNBC. And to just come back, just to show the resolve, man. To show the resolve, it's just crazy. It's just... it's the best story that you can ever think about in college basketball, because there's never been a story like this. There's never been a story of a number 1 seed losing to a number 16 seed and coming back the next year and winning the championship. I mean, okay, you had North Carolina from a couple of years ago who lost the national championship at the buzzer to Villanova, who came back the next year to win. But that ain't quite like this. That's not like this, because Virginia was shamed for a whole season. Nobody was shaming North Carolina for losing at the buzzer in the national title game. But Virginia was shamed the entire season. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. This is the beauty of sports. Sports is the best reality TV on the planet. Fuck what these other shows are talking about and doing. Okay, so it is just wonderful. DeAndre Hunter, 27 points. Ty Jerome, 16 points, and he was a playmaker. Kyle Guy, 24 points. Virginia's big dog stepped up. They all played. And what did I say last week? Coming into the Elite Eight. Coming into the Sweet 16. I said Virginia hadn't played their type of game yet in the tournament. But I said, I don't give a damn. As long as they haven't played their best game and still get to the Final Four, maybe they might get to the Final Four and explode. And damn it, if it didn't happen on the championship night. So I'm going to continue to celebrate as I get into some more topics about this amazing Virginia run. So come on, y'all. Shit. Okay. Come on, Virginia. Come on, Charlottesville. Come on, Richmond. Come on, Blacksburg. Give it up. Show love. Come on, Lynchburg. Come on. I mean, I'm so happy because as a Virginian, not just as a Cavalier fan, because I've said this before, I support all Virginia sports, all Virginia schools and sports. My favorite has always been Virginia, but I have much mad love for VCU. I love Virginia Tech. I show mad love for Hampton and Radford and ODU and JMU and the University of Richmond. You know, as a Virginian, you know, we've never done anything like this before. We've never done anything athletically of this magnitude. And I'm not trying to knock the UVA men's baseball team who won the College World Series, I want to say about 5 years ago. But I'm talking about on the national audience where you know you have the eye of not just the country, but of the world watching, because basketball is now such an international sport. Hell, Virginia has a player, Mamadi Diakite. It's from Africa. Jack Salt is from New Zealand. So you have the eye of the world, plus the world knowing your story. And you come back and pull this off. And it's something that the state of Virginia has never seen before. Like I said, no disrespect to the baseball team. No disrespect to the lacrosse team. But the last time a major college university had this type of a spotlight was what? January of 2000, when Virginia Tech played Florida State for the college football national championship, when Michael Vick was the quarterback. You know, so this is a time for all students in the state of Virginia or residents of Virginia to just really just tip your hat, give it up, you know, for this team. And at least for 1 year, college basketball royalty, the capital of college basketball, resides in the state of Virginia, in Charlottesville, thanks to this group of Virginia Cavaliers. And it is something that's long overdue. Long overdue. You know, my dad used to tell me all the time the stories of Ralph Sampson and Ricky Stokes and Jeff Jones. And I grew up watching the Corey Alexanders and Junior Burroughs and Jason Willifords and Harold Deans, Jamal Robinson, Cornell Parker, Curtis Staples. On to Roger Mason Jr. when I was a teenager, to J.R. Reynolds and Sean Singletary, to the beginning of Tony Bennett's true run with Joe Harris and Akil Smith, and going on to Malcolm Brogdon and Anthony Gill and London Parentes, and eventually to the team that we have now, Devin Hall, Isaiah Wilkins, to now with Justin Anderson, another one, to now with DeAndre Hunter, Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, Diakite, Kihei Clark, man. So, you know, I know my shit when it comes to Virginia basketball. That's why I was definitely so happy, and I definitely wish my dad was here to see this. But it is totally awesome. And you know what else this puts to bed? This puts to bed the notion that Bennett ball doesn't work. All of this stuff about Virginia's style of basketball will not win them an NCAA championship. That's put to bed forever. And to be quite honest with you, in 2022, when the NBA allows high school players to come straight to the NBA, this style of basketball that Virginia is playing is going to be replicated and duplicated some more. I mean, hell, the team that they just beat, Texas Tech, had the similar type of style. So complain about it all you want to. But now the question has been answered of if it gets results or not, because that answer is a stark raving hell yeah.
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
And now we have to think about premier coaches in college basketball, and I think you have to list Tony Bennett's name right up there with everybody else, because you look at this 6-year run that he's accomplished with Virginia. He's already been the coach for UVA for 10 years. And you look at the last 6 years, okay, you have 4 outright ACC championships in the regular season. You have 2 ACC tournament champions. You have 4 number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. And you now have a national championship to that resume. And over the last 2 years, UVA has only lost 4 ACC conference games, and their overall record, don't like these numbers, but it is what it is right now. Virginia is 66-6 in the last 2 seasons. So who has been the dominant program other than Virginia? Villanova. That's the only one I can think of. Over that 6-year period, Only one team that I can think that has been more dominant than Virginia has been Villanova, because they have 2 national championships in that time period. Duke has 1, Carolina has 1, Villanova has 2, Virginia has 1. And sprinkled in there is UConn in 2014 when this run for Virginia started. So you have to give this man his props. He's been Virginia's coach for a decade. He has laid a foundation with a style of basketball that not everybody agrees with. This is no style of basketball where your top high school recruits want to go play for in college, because it's not a sexy style. But championships will make you think otherwise, because we don't run that type of program. You learn to play as a team. Duke and Kentucky can get all the glitz and the glamour of the best freshman who's only going to be there for a year. You look at Virginia's starting lineup. You got a freshman in Kihei Clark, a sophomore in DeAndre Hunter, and 3 juniors. Now, odds-on favorite in Vegas has Virginia as the favorite to repeat. I think that might be a little bit of spur of the moment, because, the only senior on the team is Jack Salt. But I'm going to keep it real with you. Nobody thinks DeAndre Hunter is coming back. I don't. I mean, that's a great way. What a way to end your college career the way he did. Being the best player on the floor in the national championship game, hitting the game-tying shot and the eventual shot in overtime that gave Virginia a lead that they never relinquished again. 27 points. He's projected right now as the number 4 pick. And hey, I don't blame him. But it's not just DeAndre Hunter. I don't. If you really pay attention to it, Virginia has 4 players in their starting lineup that's going pro. Now, you'd like to think that a couple of them would come back, but honestly, not trying to be funny, why would you come back after that, after this? I mean, Ty Jerome will get drafted. Ty Jerome will get drafted late first round, maybe early second round, because he's a playmaker. He can shoot. He reminds me of Gordon Hayward, who plays for the Celtics. Kyle Guy is going to get drafted. He's a dead-eye shooter. He is a dead-eye shooter. I could see Kyle Guy having the career of that of a J.J. Redick. Kyle Guy will probably get drafted. Hell, I'd like the Lakers to have him, because all they say is, well, LeBron needs spot-up shooters. But I could see him getting drafted in the second round. And Mamadi Diakite, he's going to get drafted, because he reminds me a lot of Serge Ibaka. Not quite as athletic as Serge Ibaka, but just as much as the rim protector. He showed out this tournament. He really showed out, and he is going to get drafted. You got 4 pros from this championship squad in the starting lineup. Trust me when I tell you. DeAndre Hunter's going to be a lottery pick. Ty Jerome, late first round, maybe early second round. I could honestly see Diakite getting drafted midway in the first round, because like I said, he is a shot blocker. He can make the mid-range jumper. He can shoot the 3. And the best thing about all of these players, they all play defense, because that's what Tony Bennett demands from his team. So now, if all 4 of them decide to come back, oh, definitely, Virginia will repeat. If only DeAndre Hunter leaves and you have Guy Jerome and Diakite coming back, makes chances a whole lot better, because you could just put Braxton Key in the DeAndre Hunter spot, and you'd still be just as solid. Virginia would have a great chance to repeat. But honestly, just being honest with you, I don't see that happening. I see all 4 of those guys declaring for the NBA draft. Why not? Drop the mic. Okay? You have totally rewritten your legacy. You owned it, you manned up to it, and look what you accomplished. And again, congratulations to the University of Virginia Cavaliers. We finally did it. The state of Virginia, we got one. Oh, now I could talk about that all day. I could talk about this subject all day. But now, as I said earlier, it was a wide range of emotions. As now I got to get into the NBA and the shocking news that broke Tuesday night. Remember when I said I think it's time to put the Lakers to bed for the season? Well, they're making that pretty impossible, as my favorite player of all time, the Lakers' president of all basketball operations, Irvin Magic Johnson, resigned from his duties as the president of all basketball operations for the Lakers. The Magic Man has stepped away. And I'm going to say this. The Lakers are a mess right now. The Los Angeles Lakers are a fucking mess. They really are. And I don't know what is all boiled around. But the Lakers look so damn dysfunctional right now, they make the Knicks look functional. How you do that? The Lakers are like the Pittsburgh Steelers of basketball right now with all this drama. And doesn't surprise me that LeBron James comes to town and a soap opera follows it. Not to say that it wasn't already issues swirling from Jim Buss and eventually being replaced by Jeannie. But when she named Magic president of basketball operations, it was a feeling of stability that was coming back to LA. And, I've heard things that, Magic was going to fire Luke Walton and Jeannie Buss didn't want him to. And there had been talks behind Magic's back. And, just listen.
Here, thinking about that incredible interview that you had. And then also I've been thinking about the great meetings I had with Jeannie the last couple of days. And, I love her as a sister. And so today I'm going to step down as the president. And I think I don't want to, her and I have such an amazing relationship. And I think that she gave me full power to do what I wanted to do. But I think that with her and I want to always preserve our relationship and love her. And then I think that I had more fun when I was able to be the big brother and ambassador to everybody. I thought about Dwayne Wade retiring tomorrow, and I can't even tweet it out or can't be there. Serena Williams called me a week ago and said, will you mentor me and be on my advisory board? And I said, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And so when Ben Simmons called, we went through the proper channels and they made me look like the bad guy out of that situation, but I didn't do anything wrong, but do everything right. I was thinking about all those times, all guys who want me to mentor them or be a part of their lives, and I can't even do that. I had more fun on the other side than on this side, because now, tomorrow I would have to affect somebody's livelihood in their life. And I thought about that. I said, that's not fun for me. That's not who I am. And then I don't want to put her in the middle of us, even though she said, hey, you do what you want to do.
So what I'm hearing from Magic is that he wants to remain, he wants to still have the same relationship he had with Jeannie. He's had with Jeannie Buss ever since they met when they were teenagers. Because Magic has been a Laker since he was 19 years old. And if you have to read between the lines. They obviously were starting to butt heads over things that Magic wanted to do as far as the direction of the Lakers. And, Magic just is a people person. He wants to do what he wants to do, and he wants to help others. But as the president of basketball operations for a team, you can't reach out and assist, other people from other teams. You just can't do that. And he wanted Luke Walton gone. She didn't. So I think it was becoming a situation of Magic is like, you know what? Let me step down before I start to hate your guts. And I really think that's it. And I think that that's more important to him than running the Lakers, because he'll always be a Laker. And I'm pretty sure once things cool down, that of course Magic will be back in some form or fashion. He'll always be an ambassador to the Lakers. But I really think that's what it was. He's like, Jeannie, I love you, but you're really starting to fucking get on my nerves. That's the vibe that I'm getting. You know what? Maybe I should just leave because I'm gonna say some shit to you that's gonna not be able to be undone. So I love you. I love your dad too much. Love your brother. But you know what? You starting to get on my motherfucking nerves.
Biatch.
Okay? And maybe that was the best thing. Now, there was some other things said too as well.
She doesn't know I'm standing here because I know I would be crying like a baby in front of her, even though I'm about to cry now. But it's the right thing to do, right move to make. And then that way he can stay in place, hopefully build the team, coach the team the right way. And also, what I didn't like is the backstabbing and the whispering. I don't like that. I don't like a lot of things that went on that didn't have to go on. And so I hope that after tomorrow, the Lakers can head in the right direction, which we are.
Laker for life. Definitely a Laker for life. That goes without saying. But a couple of things. First of all, there's no bigger Magic fan than me. But professional courtesy, not trying to be funny, was not there. And you rarely ever hear me criticize Magic Johnson, which I think was a big reason why he decided to step down, because Magic has always been, the happy guy. Who doesn't love Magic? And people are really starting to roast him as far as the job that he was doing. I'll get into that in a second. But professional courtesy, he said that Jeannie didn't know that he was standing there. And you shouldn't have handled it that way, because it comes across as, one, unprofessional, two, very weak, and that's the last thing that Magic Johnson is. But that to me wasn't the best professional move, because whether you realize, even though that you are Irvin Magic Johnson, she was your boss. She was your employer. So if I'm going to quit my job, the correct thing to do is give at least a 2 weeks notice. So I don't think that was the best way to go about it, as far as, making it public during the game, during the last game of the season, while the game is going on, he was doing that press conference. I mean, so I just would have handled that different. And then the other thing, he said he didn't like the backstab and the whisper. So obviously people was talking behind his back, obviously. And one name to me particularly comes to mind. And you may be surprised, given it's coming from me, and that would be Rob Pelinka. I don't think him and Rob Pelinka had the relationship that you saw on TV. I've heard things about him pretty much mocking Magic at practice, or asking where was he during practice, trying to give the hint, well, I'm here, where's he? And the only reason why Rob Pelinka is even there is because he is tight with Kobe. He was Kobe's agent. He made Kobe a lot of money. And of course, we know that Kobe is Laker royalty as well. I also definitely am pointing some finger at LeBron James. Definitely. Because I honestly think that another thing Magic got sick of was the damn drama show. And Magic likes drama as well. He likes the dramatic effect, but this soap opera, all of the noise and the bullshit that comes with LeBron James, that's just truth. Now, Magic liked, the dramatic effect, but Magic was as dedicated a player as you would find. He was dedicated to the team. He was dedicated to Los Angeles, the community, and I don't think LeBron James is. LeBron James had an ulterior motive to wanting to come to L.A. I don't think his main priority has been, the basketball court since he's gotten to the Lakers. And on top of that, with all of the bullshit that comes with his boys, like I said before, LeBron's boys is like the fucking Beehive. Beyonce got the Beehive, and what did I call LeBron's little fan club? Oh, all the King's Men. because they're more sensitive than he is. And I'm not calling him the king. That's the drama king. And I think that weighed heavy a lot on Magic too. And this is one reason why I didn't want LeBron to come to LA, because, he brings that bullshit, that only child syndrome attitude that he has, where he wants his ass to be kissed so much. But a lot of this falls on, I believe, Rob Pelinka as well. And so, there must have been a lot of backstabbing going on. It must have been for Magic to literally quit, at the midnight hour, right as the season was coming to an end. But, the Lakers are a mess. And I think Magic was also getting tired of being crucified in the media, and he knows that this upcoming offseason, you got some notable free agents, and I don't think they're going to come to L.A. They're not getting KD or Kawhi or Klay Thompson or Kyrie Irving. And honestly, I think it's not because of Magic Johnson. I just really think that these players nowadays, outside of Anthony Davis, are pretty sick of LeBron James and all the antics that comes with LeBron James. Because there's so many excuse makers from all the King's men. And when he wins, he's the greatest thing in the world. And when he loses, it's everybody else's fault. And you know what? I think that has just gotten so played out with his teammates over the years. I really do. And so, like I said, the Lakers are a mess right now. And so now, who do you get to replace Magic? I come up with 5 options. Probably none of them would probably happen. One, R.C. Buford, the GM from San Antonio. He's always wanted a job out there in Hollywood. I don't see the Spurs letting him go. The general manager for the Golden State Warriors, who used to be an agent as well, like Rob Pelinka. And how about this one? Kobe Bryant. Now, I don't think Kobe would want to set foot in no shitstorm like this, but I think Kobe Bryant, since he's so tight with Rob Pelinka, why not? Because I will tell you this. On one end, in Kobe's last couple of years of his career, you really couldn't find no other star that wanted to come play with him, because Kobe has that no-nonsense, I ain't dealing with your bullshit mentality. But on the other end, I'll say this. If Kobe became the president of basketball operations, Kyrie Irving is coming to L.A. I believe he would get Kyrie Irving because they have the same mentality. I believe he could get Jimmy Butler because they have the same mentality. And I'll take that. But like I said, that's kind of far-fetched too, because Kobe's got so many other things going on. So he's number 3. Number 2 and number 1, put him in any order, either Jerry West or Pat Riley. Both have Laker ties. Of course, they were the architects of Showtime. And Jerry West was the architect of Shaq and Kobe. So I don't know. It's just an absolute mess right now in LA. And what I'm not liking, actually, is all of these people saying that Magic failed. Magic was such a big disappointment. Magic made his dumb moves along the way. But mind you, Magic has only been in this position for 2 years. That's it. Now you got to think about this before we say that Magic failed. You know the shitstorm that was the Lakers when Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak were running the show? And not even necessarily Mitch Kupchak, because he was a damn good GM as well. But all of the BS that Jim Buss, the mess that he made, the Luau Deng contract, the Timothy Mozgov contract, the not bringing Phil Jackson after they fired Mike Brown in the 2012-2013 season because you were caught up in your personal feelings. The last championship-worthy roster that the Lakers had with Steve Nash, who was a shell of himself by that time, but still had Kobe pre-injury. You got Dwight Howard, Ron Artest, and Pau Gasol, and you fire Mike Brown. Phil Jackson's going to take the job, and you choose Mike D'Antoni because you don't like Phil Jackson, because he has a relationship with your sister, and it just went downhill from there. Magic had to come in and clean up that mess. So he got the contract off the books for Luol Deng and Mozgov. Okay. The Lakers' record has actually improved every year since Magic has been there. Now, you traded D'Angelo Russell. We all know what that was about. You drafted Lonzo Ball instead of De'Aaron Fox. Well, we'll see how that turns out. We'll see. And the dumb moves that I think, the real dumb moves, because, I mean, I could live with the D'Angelo Russell trade, even though he's had a great season this year with Brooklyn, led him to the playoffs. The real dumb move was trading Julius Randle. That was dumb. Trading Zubac. That was dumb. And entertaining that Anthony Davis trade talk. That was real dumb. Where Magic made his biggest mistake was not sticking to the notion of, hey, this first season with LeBron and the youngsters, you know, we're just going to see how we do. Hopefully we'll make the playoffs. And then next year in free agency, we're going to try to do our thing. But in the meantime, these players are developed. LeBron, get familiar with them. The worst thing that could have happened to the Lakers was them beating Golden State on Christmas Day. Not just beating them, blowing them out on Christmas Day. That was the worst thing that could have happened, because on that game, LeBron got hurt, Rondo got hurt, and the Lakers were fourth in the West at that time, and it was only Christmas, so I'm pretty sure heads were starting to think, hey, we might have a shot, you know, but instead you went into panic mode, and then you have Rich Paul telling Anthony Davis to demand a trade from New Orleans because he wants to go to the Lakers, and knowing LeBron James had his finger in that, and then all of a sudden everybody is on the trading block except for LeBron. All of your young talent that's developing, Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Zubac, Josh Hart, all of these guys who were starting to do their thing is now on the trading block, and it alienated them. And it was just completely unnecessary. And LeBron just pretty much isolated himself from everybody, you know, to make it look like, as usual, it ain't me, it's them. Those are the mistakes that Magic made. You know, I mean, LeBron getting hurt played a major factor, along with Rondo getting hurt, played a major factor. Do I think Magic should have stepped down? No. But if you have a bunch of other bullshit that alongside with, you know, you not being where you want to be as far as the basketball is concerned, as far as what's going on the court, then maybe the best thing for him to do was to step down. Because if Magic wants to go out and be Magic, he can't do that running the Lakers. He just can't. You know, he's always been in a position where, you know, he has Magic Johnson Enterprise where he's the boss, where he doesn't have to, you know, answer to anybody else. And while Jeannie might be like a sister, still his boss. That's still his boss. So, like I said, I'm not going to completely say that Magic failed. I'm just going to say the job was incomplete. So, one more thing I'd like to touch on, and that's going to be pretty brief, but it came from Kyle Korver of the Utah Jazz, who recently put out an article talking about white privilege and how people from his race need to start taking accountability for their actions. You know, this is what happens when you are in a work environment, you know, with people who are different from you for most of your, or for your whole career. And by that, I mean, the NBA is 75% black. Kyle Korver has been around predominantly black teammates. And what happened with the whole issue with Russell Westbrook at Utah, that affected him. And you know what? Kudos to Kyle Korver. Because one thing about this race, while we are the most copied race in the history of the world, we're the first race where you're so quick to rush to judgment to as well. And basically what he's saying in a nutshell is maybe it's not them. Maybe we need to check ourselves. Because when you spend a lot of time with a certain group of people, you start to see what their world is like. You start to see what their world is like. And even as a black man with money, you still can see how they're treated differently than everybody else with money. So definite shout out to him for just even addressing that, because, you know, the only person who I could see that came close to doing that was Chris Long from the Philadelphia Eagles. He was the first notable athlete. He was the first notable white athlete that stood with his teammates in Philadelphia during the whole kneeling of the anthem. You know, he stood with and put his arms around Malcolm Jenkins while all of that was going on. So like I said, definite shout out to Kyle Korver for bringing that situation up. And I'm pretty sure that there are people that are looking at him with a side eye, but you know, he has been around black people for a long time, and you know, he has an idea of what the struggle is like, because you know, he's never been viewed as a dislikable teammate. And I wish more people would take that approach instead of always rushing to judgment with us when it comes to any situation. And as far as the NBA goes, regular season just ended last night. A definite shout out to Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki as they played their final NBA games. The playoffs are set. Milwaukee, number 1 seed overall. They're in the East. They will play the Detroit Pistons. The Toronto Raptors, number 2, will play the Orlando Magic. The 76ers, number 3, will play the Brooklyn Nets. And the 4-5 matchup is the Celtics and the Pacers. In the West, the Golden State Warriors, number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They will play the Los Angeles Clippers. The Denver Nuggets will be playing the San Antonio Spurs. Upset alert. The Portland Trailblazers will be playing the 3rd seed. Portland Trailblazers will be playing the 6th seed Oklahoma City Thunder. Possible upset alert. And the 4-5 matchup is the Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz. I will get into the playoffs when I do my next podcast. I may do one tomorrow. I may wait till Sunday. But with that being said, weta buzzer, weta buzzer, weta buzzer. And a post-buzzard shout-out definitely goes to Baylor Lady Bears, who won a sensational and spectacular women's national championship game. They won by 1 point, beating the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 82-81. Definite shout out. It was an amazing game as well. Both national championship games were amazing. We are the champions of the world, Virginia. Yes, we are. But this has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. I'm your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns. Again, if this is your first time listening, hit me up with that subscribe button. I'll get back at you. Peace.